The first of the banks reported annual results today. Bendigo and Adelaide Bank delivered a strong rebound in net profit to $242.6 million, up from $83.8 million last year. Coming through a financial crisis and a restructuring with new growth in the retail deposit base, Group Managing Director Mike Hirst is set for a busy year ahead. I spoke with him a short time ago. Mike Hirst, welcome to Late Line Business.
Thank you, Tiki.
Well, good results for you today. 2010 profits almost tripled. Not quite what some of the analysts forecast. You can't please anyone these days, I suppose.
No, it is a bit difficult. Although I will say that obviously last year's result, which was quite subdued because of the GFC, has meant that some of those percentage improvements are a lot larger than what you'd otherwise see.
Well, you're a year into the job now. Would it be fair to say that the Bendigo side of the business really pulled you through the crisis, and in particular the retail strength?
Look, I think there's no doubt that the rationale for the merger, which was to make both businesses more resilient right through the cycle, got tested out very early. And the piece that was tested out was the piece of the business that was wholesale funded. And with such a strong retail network that Bendigo has, it was able to step up to the plate when it was required and raise the deposits that were needed to keep the business going.
Today is the third anniversary of the global financial crisis. If you think about when BNP Paribas froze two funds, I guess access to funds and funding costs has been the big challenge. Has that changed a lot?
Look, I think things are starting to improve somewhat. Certainly the government's initiative to put $16 billion in the securitisation market, principally to assist competition in banking, has helped. And the securitisation market, which is important for us, is now starting to show good signs of recovery.
Yes, you're planning two residential mortgage-backed securities over the next 12 months, each of, I think, $750 to $1 billion. The market's going to be big enough to absorb that?
I think so. We've recently done a $1.5 billion issue, and we've done about $3.5 billion since December. So I don't think a $1.5 billion over the next 12 months is a big ask at all.
You've said more broadly that as an economy, Australia really has to deal with this issue of how much funding we need from offshore. In what ways do you think we need to look at change?
Well, I think the reality is that about 30% of the funding for our banks comes from offshore, and so that really is flowing through into the economy. If you think about it, that 30% is a significant number, and we've got to make sure that we can rely upon the funding that we need to keep the economy going. Now, with 30% of that coming from offshore, it is a large amount, and at some stage we need to make sure that we can rely on the funding that's available for us. And I think with so much offshore, that's difficult to say with certainty.
So what changes would you like to see?
Well, we've got a very successful savings pool here in Australia with superannuation. And without having done the numbers, my feel is that there's a great deal of that going into equity markets. Now, we don't have a very large fixed interest